first off, I want to thank Game Mill Entertainment for giving me a code for this game and that they are sponsoring today's video. So if you're at all interested in the game after I spend some time talking about it, you can click the link in the description below and consider purchasing your copy there. I greatly appreciate it if you did videos like this, and you watching them tremendously support this channel. And I figure this video won't be particularly long because what we have here is something I think speaks for itself when you just look at it, but I'm going to break it down anyway because that's the entire reason you're here likely. And if it sounds like my voice is a little deeper than usual, I am recording this script at 4 o'clock in the morning because I've lost control of my life. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, published by Game Mill Entertainment and developed by Ludocity, or is it Ludosity? Now, they were responsible for the 2018 Slapstick, a game I've actually had a go with a couple of years ago during a charity tournament for an Extra Life event. And it was okay, definitely Smash Brothers inspired if you couldn't tell. Not too derivative, but it wasn't pushing the envelope, a relatively harmless game that I think would appeal to the younger demographic, which is about how I would describe Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, with an obviously more star-studded cast. You got SpongeBob SquarePants and his friends, Leo and Mikey from TMT, Reptar, those two kids from Loud House, although that's after my time. I personally stopped watching Nickelodeon cartoons after the mid-2000s, so I don't recognize a couple of characters here. Oblina from Our Real Monsters, though I was not expecting that kind of pull. I would expect a really big man from Rocko's Modern Life before I think of Oblina. But hey, you never know what franchise might get representation here. The Avatar characters were a safe assumption given the style of game here. Yeah, it's a healthy cast immediately available to play, with over 20 stages available. Would have liked to see some other characters by default. I know folks really want Hugh from Jimmy Neutron, and I'm like, how are you gonna have Reptar and not Thorg? He just wants eat. And if this game ever gets a sandbag equivalent, you know, a striking dummy, it better be Boppo the Clown. I can double the size of this video just talking about potential characters for the future. This is a game that can easily extend its shelf life with DLC, and whatever they decide to do, I'm sure it'll make more sense than whatever this dude's supposed to be. Is he from TMNT? Getting some major Poochie vibes from staring at this dude, and that is not a compliment. You know, graphically the game is fine and colorful. Stage design is quality stuff. The effort placed in the background aesthetic was not skimmed over, and it helps make the combat feel livelier. And while the transition to 3D can be a jarring experience for normally two-dimensional cartoons, I think structurally characters made it out pretty good. They are still very much identifiable as the characters you know them as. I don't think anybody here got it as bad as, say, G.I. Jimbo. Anyway, a platform fighter with Nickelodeon characters was more than enough reason to get relatively excited for this. Was I expecting the next killer app? Not at all, and I admit my main appeal for this game was nostalgia because it's not like these kind of games are hard to come by in this day and age. But with all these characters from eras old and new, that's pretty cool to see. And hey, that's another game I can play with my Twitch audience at some point or another, only instead the SpongeBob quotes would never stop. And you know, with this kind of game, local multiplayer and online matches are what's going to keep you coming back to this. And I do want to thank Nora and Ryan for helping me get some local footage, as well as Beat 'em Ups and Miss Click for online play. Beat 'em Ups is also doing a dedicated video for this, so if you want some more raw gameplay, you check out his channel here. I do appreciate the invitation though, man. I'm sorry for being a overly hard ass with some of these matches, but I can't help myself. The online experience was thankfully consistent and not a lag fest at all. Well, these things are never perfect, you know, especially for the Switch, but the game still functions with flying colors, though if you're even thinking about playing online at all, I would hope you made sure your internet connection was stable to begin with. The heart and soul of the title lies in the gameplay, and to focus on that, it's good. You have a basic attack, a hard-hitting heavy attack, a special attack, and a throw that I didn't find very useful. I found it pretty weak and lacking in impact. Defensive options are also at your beck and call, like a standard guard, a parry, and an air dodge that you can aim in any direction once. With these, you're trying to knock your opponent off the stage and keep them off until they go out of bounds. Depending on the character, that's easier said than done, though I found Zim had some nasty heavy attacks that gave my opponent little chance of recovering. That felt good. But I noticed the AI wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed sometimes. I played on the medium difficulty for my arcade playthroughs, and some stages, man, they just don't know how to handle certain hazards in bottomless pits. And SpongeBob one time just completely shut down, not moving at all. Everyone gets their existential crises here and there, but SpongeBob, my dude, now's not the time. I would say my only immediate gripes was a couple of small things. No alternate colors to choose from. I don't see this being much of an issue for 1v1s, but with 3 or more players, I can easily see that being a little confusing for everyone. And I don't think the player tags above the character would be enough. Local profile options is something I also think needs to be added later. You have an online profile, but I think it's just for keeping tabs on your victory points, for leaderboards and all that. As of now, players can't customize and save their control schemes for future matches. They gotta adjust every time they boot up the game, which is not the end of the world, but it is noticeable after a point. Besides those quirks, the foundation of the game remains solid. Control and inputs are super responsive. Not once did I cry foul on performing attacks. It's also damn fast. I think it shows that Little City's favorite Smash Brothers was probably Melee. Even the supposed heavyweights move with lightning speed, which is so jarring when they're throwing out some incredibly crunchy haymakers. There are also no items to be found. Every match is just you and your opponent, and I admit I feel for a cartoonish brawler that removes some potential whimsy and guffaws, but I know some are also down with the no-nonsense approach, like a standard 2D fighter. They rather nothing get in the way besides the occasional stage hazard or skewed ledge design in Cat Dog's home. My muscle memory ended up being my biggest obstacle learning the ropes, which is not at all the game's fault. Can't expect every 2D fighter to be Street Fighter, so you can't expect every platform fighter to be a Smash Brothers. No, the gameplay is perfectly fine on its own merits, and it even has some things Smash doesn't have, like the strafe button. You hold it down, your character won't turn around, letting you remain steady with your frontal heavy attacks and edge guarding. This has a lot of practicality. I'd love to see Smash implement that without being tied to a specific stipulation. For those curious, my favorites so far were Helga, Sandy Cheeks, Korra, and Reptar. Ooh, Reptar especially. I think in time, he might just be my main next to Helga. Big, strong, surprisingly fast. Missed opportunity that he didn't have his dance number from the Rugrats game. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl lays the groundwork for a potentially amazing series of games, and I hope it continues to thrive with added content like additional characters, more stages, and maybe some extra single-player content, should that be the plan. $50 might be a little hard to swallow for the older crowd. But if you're a parent looking to get their kids something to keep them busy, hey, I see this game having a long shelf life for them. It's hard-hitting, high-flying action with a whole bunch of colorful Nickelodeon characters. That's all a kid needs to hear probably, so for the younger demographic, this game is a strong recommend. So again, I want to thank Game Mill Entertainment for sponsoring this video. It was a great time with friends, both local and online, and seeing that's basically what I wanted with some of my favorite Nickelodeon characters, I think that's a job well done. Once more, you can follow the link in the description below to purchase the game for yourself if you so choose to. It's on everything: Nintendo Switch, PS4 and 5, Xbox One and Series X, Steam. Just gotta say though, on the Nintendo Switch, you can use the GameCube adapter and it works like a dream. That's how I played it for this video, and I didn't regret a single second of it. Just something to think about. I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask if you decide to go outside, get vaccinated if possible, have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care.